Hey, welcome to the show. I am Salt. We got a lot of things to talk about today, and we're going to explore some things that we haven't really gone into depth on before, and see if we can get some clarity. Let's go with this first clip, Jeremy.
The Republican Party in Texas was started on the 4th of July, 1867 in Houston, Texas by 150 blacks and 20 whites. It was that way across the South. The Republican parties were started in the South by African Americans. In the state of Texas, two of our first three statewide Republican chairmen were African American. The first 42 black legislators elected in Texas were all Republican. The first 112 black legislators elected in Mississippi were all Republican. The first 190 black legislators elected in South Carolina were all Republican. The first 41 in Georgia, the first 127 in Louisiana. So now you've got all these African Americans really stepping up and starting to gain political standing, political power. Now, you have Democrats on the other side who have been very racist. It's in their platforms. They support the Dred Scott decision. They think the fugitive slave law is great. They started a nation to keep slavery alive. Very racist. And so now they're facing a situation where these blacks are now their rulers, are now in office, are now U.S. senators, are now U.S. How do you stop that?
Okay, Black history. As I grow older, I'm really learning there's a lot more to my history than what I've been told, even by my ancestors. Those who raised me and those that came before them, about our Black history. The white man brought us from the motherland into another land and sold to the white man. There's elements of truth in that. And I remember the first crack the crack in that story introduced to me when I learned that there were blacks in Africa that were bringing other blacks to the slave owners to ship over to here. The element that was missing in that story is that our own people are the ones who betrayed us into slavery. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and as I've said before, when I was a kid, my grandma told me we Democrats. Okay, the Democrats is for the poor, black people, and the Republicans is for rich people, white people. And now she wasn't prejudiced. Her friends were white. And I think there were things in that time when she came up, and that was just understood. It wasn't that you were prejudiced. You just stayed. You stayed in your lane. If you had your white friends or if white people had their black friends, it was understood. But it was also an understanding, at the end of the day, you go to your corner, I go to my corner, we'll meet up and, and have coffee at work, but outside of that, it's not really that much interaction. And it wasn't that, anybody was prejudiced or anything like that. Those that didn't mind intermingling with the opposite of their race. Actually, this Democratic Republican, nobody taught me who started the Republican Party. Nobody taught me who started the Democratic Party. Nobody taught me that after slavery ended, that we had more black people that were in politics than ever in our history. Nobody ever told me that. And this news was readily available to those of my people who were teaching our black history. And so now I'm realizing something that was perpetuated to me in my community is that victimhood. We'll talk about being taken away as slaves and mothers being ripped from their children and families being broken up and sold to this plantation, and these things did happen. But I was never told that there were black free people that had slaves also in this country. I was never told about that. And I don't understand why just over these last 10 to 20 years, now this information is coming out. There were black slave owners. I just think that it's so important. And now here's the thing. All of this information I've been hearing over the last 5 years, I've been hearing so much about how the Republican Party was pro-black, how the Republican Party was started by blacks, and how the Ku Klux Klan was a democratic movement. But even though this information is known, why are we still standing?
I was today's years old when I learned that.
Wow. Why are we still standing as black people and backing these politicians, these black politicians who know this information, they gotta know. And they're still standing behind these issues.